promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show. You know what it is? Hey, Ham, it's time, baby. Low, it's time how we do. Hey. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we hit. They said we said on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. 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 I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you on red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you red fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blitz. Cut you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make it bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go.
Man, I tell you what, bro. I tell you what. Vinny. I mean, I know I should be doing my introduction for Vinny right now, but like we talk like almost every day.
Yeah, I feel like every day. Every day we're gaming, we're talking.
This episode's finna hit different for sure. But like, I mean, I just gotta ask you real quick, Vinny, Mr. Usovinny, my guest for this evening, and the person I'm probably just gonna chat with in the Discord probably after the show while we continue to rack up hours in Dragon's Dogma or whatever. Has my channel changed since I've met you?
Oh yeah, I think I met you.
You were there from the beginning.
You were just starting. Yeah, you were just starting content creating.
Yeah, man. I remember when Matt suggested that I do behind them, or not. He didn't suggest that. I asked him if he thought that was a good idea, and then if I could use him as a first episode.
The pilots.
Yeah, he was the pilot of Behind Them Sticks. Shout out to Matt Likes Games in the chat. He's the first one that was great, actually. He's on the screen right now. There he is. The same profile picture that I had when I had Behind Them Sticks with him. So he's very consistent with the same. Shout out to It's Timmy, what's cracking? Too Big, one of the day ones as well up in the chat. We got Epic Gay Mainer. I know it's Gamer. I said Gay Mainer. What up, Epic Gamer? What's cracking? I think I know who that is because the way he talked right there, very explicit. But I'll allow it. I like it. But anyways, what's cracking, you guys? It's your boy HamSolo05 Gaming here with you from the TSWS Gaming YouTube channel, letting you know always to keep it gaming or keep it moving. I got a wonderful guest here that just so happened to be around since like the jump of my channel growing back when like I first met Loke. Loke and I believe Benny were already following each other on Twitter at the time. This is before I even met Matt Likes Games and had him on the channel or even knew who he was, or Bill or Mike, who I think is, here in spirit. But but before I really even put together my PC, I knew these guys. So like, maybe not Matt. Matt, I think Matt, Bill, and Mike, I think I met a little bit later. But like, yeah, I met these guys when I first got like my Series X, PS5. Good dudes. Been chatting with them ever since. Ended up meeting Too Big, being on, that Hawaiian podcast y'all used to have back in the day, man. We missed that dog story, man. What, man? Are you? I gotta ask you right now, man. Since this is a podcast that's about interviewing you, I'm gonna be pressing your ass. All right, no Diddy.
I wasn't
right?
the leader. I wasn't the leader.
I know you weren't
the
leader, but what I meant by pressing is I was gonna ask you, like, do you ever plan on making your own like channel or doing something, because you have a good set of knowledge, and I know you got some brothers that wouldn't mind, having a place to talk every once in a while. Not to say they're not able to holler at your boy and come here, y'all, but but I know like you guys had a very let's be honest. Y'all had a very much closer relationship than like I could really understand, or really, you guys are all Hawaiian and stuff like that. You guys have the heritage and stuff like that behind you to make it like to amplify that effect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like the group of brothers, or the group of Mexicans, or the white folks up at the preppy school, or whatever. Right? Like everybody has their group that they feel a little bit more comfortable with, right? And it's just natural. Exactly. You guys understand your lingo. You understand your bullshit, right? So, do you ever plan on in the future, not saying that it's coming like right now or whenever, but like, do you ever plan on doing it? Bringing it back some?
Yeah, I mean, as far as a channel goes for myself, I'm actually planning. I mean, I've already made a few draft videos and what I want my pilot video for my channel to be. It's hard, man, to determine like what I want to do as far as content creating. Because you could go like kind of the easy route, do console wars, but I want to be more of like a gaming news channel, and I've just been kind of like spitballing these draft videos, seeing like what I feel resonates with me and my personality more. And I just want to be chill, like when I talk to you guys, I want to have like those type of conversations with people without getting into the whole console war nonsense, And as far as like Too Big and everybody, like I made a new group chat with them. It's called Pacific Buffet.
This is the Polynesian Triangle Connection.
Man, I would love to like start something new with those guys. Me and Mario were actually Blind Giant 808, for those who don't know. We're actually like planning on revamping the Talk Story podcast, but things have just changed with Bingo Mango, or Kavika. Some of you guys know him. And scheduling just didn't work out for everybody, and so they decided to put it on ice and just make it a content channel where with video uploads and no live podcast or anything like that. So, but I would love to start up a new podcast with these guys. Like I feel like we had like a really good thing going on, and I don't know, they're just good guys. Too Big, Mario, Sensei, like they're fun to chat with. They're gamers, just like all of us, and from Hawaii, and so we all got that big Hawaiian soul. So,
man, I swear, like any night that we're all in like a chat or a Discord together, it could, like, if we're all on our bullshit, it could be a podcast. Like,
because time flies too.
Everyone's just making fun of each other, and it's fantastic. What up, Lemon in the chat? What away Dragons TV shout out to the guy out there. He said, "What's good in my gaming community? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you." Got brother Usovinny here with us this evening. And I don't want to veer off too much from what I usually do, so I'm still going to stay on track a little bit, but it's just going to be more of a laid back episode because, I mean, this is my boy. So I got to ask, and let me go on ahead and set this straight. I've been waiting to get this fool on this show since I started the damn show. But this man, I mean, now his camera fuzzy.
Yeah. It's got to focus.
Yeah. But anyways, but yeah, it just took him forever to get his PC and everything together. And now he think he's the shit, right? He thinks he's like on top of the world because he got like a 4090, and he thinks even though he spends more time fixing his games than he does playing, he think he on top of the world. But anyways, I'm done giving him. Anyways, brother, I gotta ask you. So leading up to, the PC that you're pretty much maining now, could you agree? Because I mean, Xbox, sure, but now it's almost become like a traveling device for you, almost.
Pretty much. I mean,
and same with the same with even the PlayStation. Sure, the PlayStation has some has some exclusives on it, but you're not. It doesn't ever seem like, because we still share a library, or shared a library for a while, and we were never really on there. And it wasn't that like the PlayStation was a bad console. It was just like all my friends are already on Xbox, and there's a whole lot of reason to be here. But like now you're getting Stellar Yams, right? And we're gonna lead back up to the current situation. I want to take you way back, real quick. I want to hit a pause button on that and take you way back to the early young Uso. And I want to ask you, brother, what were all the consoles that you had leading all the way up to the 49 that you ever had?
Sorry, I don't know why it's fuzzy. It's like good on my end, but for some reason StreamYard is out of focus. But as far as consoles,
I'm focused over here, bro. I'm focused. That 90 struggling right now. That 49.
No, not the 4090. It's not the 4090. The 4090 is pristine, brother. It's the software.
I don't know, man. I'm just messing. But anyways, yeah, go on ahead. What were all the consoles that you had leading all the way up to what you have now?
My first ever console was the N64.
That was your first console.
It's my first ever console. So I started with Nintendo. One of my dad's good friends had a N64, and he was kind of like just getting into a relationship and married. So he was just getting rid of a lot of stuff, and so he gifted my dad the N64 for me, and had a bunch of Star Wars games on it. And I loved Star Wars at the time. This was before like I ever touched a controller, so that's when I first fell in love with gaming, like Star Wars Dark Forces, Rogue Squadron, and some other titles I can't quite remember. But after the N64, I actually got a Super NES. I think that's what it was. The one with the Duck Hunts, and is that the Super NES or just the NES?
What's that? Where?
With Duck Hunt and like the old school Mario?
No. That's just the NES. Yeah.
Just the NES. Okay, yeah. So then I got the NES.
That's this right here.
Yeah, that one.
That guy.
So my dad's other friends had a broken NES, and so my dad fixed it, and he just decided to give that to us, and so I was playing just a couple.
You put like a new pen reader in it or something?
I don't know what was wrong with it. It just didn't read cartridges, so it would display.
Yeah,
but it just,
there's that damn pen reader.
So he took it to like a repair
this
shop.
This thing's a pain in the ass because of that. Yeah. It takes me like 15 tries to get a game on.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like he had to take it to a repair shop like twice. So I didn't really use it that much. As far as like after that, I think it was either the PS2 or the GameCube. And the PS2 is my favorite console of all time. That was like the best gaming console ever. Like just because of the games on it. Like Metal Gear and Final Fantasy.
Or you said the 360 last time.
No, dude. I mean, I had a 360, but that was like my fifth console. Like, I got an Xbox after the PS2 and then the 360, and so that was like way down the line. But
okay,
360 was my first introduction to online gaming, which at the time was mind blowing. Like, I was just a 8-year-old kid playing online for the first time ever, and my first online experience was the Lost Planet demo, multiplayer demo, that 360 way back when. And at the time, it was mind blowing just being able to play with people across the world and being able to communicate with them. I mean, doesn't sound crazy nowadays, but back then, like when you've never played an online game before and you play it for the first time ever with full communication, it's crazy. But yeah, PS2 is my favorite all-time. Metal Gear, Final Fantasy, and a bunch of other, like a couple other JRPGs that people don't know about. Like there was this one called Chromebot Chronicles, and that was like my first JRPG, and not a whole lot of people may know about it. It was made by Atlas, so the people who make Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, and it never got a sequel. But that game was really good. That game was. It's sad that it never got a sequel, but
I'm assuming turn-based.
Kinda. It was a little weird. I think it was more action combat actually.
Really?
Yeah, like you would. It was kind of weird. You woke up on the beach in the introduction, and then you're supposed to command these, like, they look like cars, but they're like with legs and arms, and so they're like called steam bots. And you would get into like these arena fights with the steam bots, and you could change your weaponry, your armor, all this. Like, it was really good. It was really fun. But it wasn't that popular. So that was my first experience with the JRPG. And then after like the 360, I got an Xbox One. I paid for myself from a summer just working at a coffee shop, and Xbox One generation was okay, and so I decided to get that Series X. But instead of just the Series X, I got also the PS5 as well. And so those were my consoles, and Super or NES, Nintendo 64, GameCube, PS2, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Series X, PS5. And not a PC.
Don't forget, I thought you had a PS3.
No, I didn't have a PS3 because it was too expensive. It was $700 when that thing came out. So my dad wasn't gonna buy that. I was only like 10 at the time, so like, yeah, PS3 was the only console that I didn't own. I actually did have a original PlayStation 2 that one of my friends gave me. So, but that was way after. I didn't really play on it that much besides like the bullet hell games.
No doubt. Okay. Bullet hell. I'm actually working on a video about a bullet hell game. Actually, I'll give a little sneak peek right actually now. But in the meantime, while I'm looking that up, if you guys aren't aware, that's Vinny's YouTube, or not YouTube, Twitter, where he gets, his big checks every month, paid from the Twitter. It is a great place for him, though. What the fuck is this? What's happening here?
That's the Diddy party.
What is that? Having myself a Diddy party? Yo, that's the first thing I see when I scroll. That's not a very good advertisement. Give people weird shit.
Hey, this is a unique part of the game.
I'm over here trying to shine a good light on you, and you over here bringing future court filings to me.
You get demonetized.
Oh
so
my god!
That part of the video we're watching right now, that's actually like the girl side of the like hot spring, and so that's my pawn.
Yo,
Casca. She's named after the girl from Berserk.
I forgot what I was doing. I was pulling something up. I know I was pulling something up, but I forgot what I was doing. I don't know if I should be disgusted or impressed.
Impressed. Definitely impressed.
You said impressed, but the caption reads different.
Nobody has ever posted this part of the game, so I was like, oh, you know, might as well be the first.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I just remember what I was doing. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, Vinny. That's out of pocket.
I'm just playing the game.
Yeah, you sure are. You sure are.
It reminds me of Naruto, Sexy Ninjutsu.
Sexy ninjutsu.
Remember when the clouds would just cover like?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I really do, because it made you feel a little uncomfortable that Naruto is doing.
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere too.
It's like, oh, that's a little boy. That's really weird. That's really freaking weird. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, I'll show you guys this real quick. So this is just like a little video I've been working on in the background because, you know, I do a little editing and stuff like that. But this was the bullet hell that I was talking about, Vinny, that I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
And let me get it up on the screen real quick. Stop sharing.
Starfield?
No. Yeah. The Enterprise. Right.
There you go. Making your own loading screens there.
Allow system audio. Okay, yeah, sure. That's fine. So bam. So yeah, I'm working on this edit right now. I'm not. I'm kind of done. I'm not exactly. But
you got that big old pack smile. You smiling from ear to ear.
Big time. I was stoked. I was happy. I was a happy pappy. But yeah, let's see. Move some of this shit. Jesus Christ. Why is it so small on this screen? But anyways, let me hit the play button. You can kind of see.
I'm gonna move here. I really found
what I'm working on right now.
Actually,
can you hear it?
Finding a comfortable position to just sit and play, because I really found myself getting like pretty dang immersed in. I'm gonna move here. Here comes this bullet. It's going that way. This bullet's gonna ricochet. That's gonna be coming at me, and they're gonna. You gotta think about so many different things happening all at once. And what I really like about it is slam it down and then hit my next move, and then my next move.
You can take a month to do a run, you know, if you let it out from everywhere at you. And you have to be very skilled at dodging them, because usually in bullet hells you have it's one hit kill, maybe 3 hit kill, which is not the case in Chronosphere. But those are bullet hells, right? And you mix that with turn-based tactics, you know, with games like XCOM or Wargroup.
What do you think of that?
Looks pretty cool.
Well, indie game right there.
The art style, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too bad.
Is that cell shaded?
It looks like it.
Yeah, reminds me of this other indie game that came out.
Were you able to see it? Did I have it posted for everybody to see or no? Did I not have it posted this whole time?
No, but you.
Man, why didn't you say something?
I just saw the screenshot. I was like, all right, it's cool.
My goodness, yeah. Let me go back and do this, man. Let me put some respect on it. God damn. Yeah, put some respect on it.
Yeah. So I want to know from you in particular, like, what was kind of the motivation to making a board or something like that? But I was like, actually finding a comfortable position to just sit and play, because I really found myself.
Yeah, dude, I sat and played this game for like 30, 40 minutes straight. and at a booth,
bullet, it's going
at a booth at a convention, that's a long time.
Ricochet. That's gonna be coming at me, and they're gonna. And you got to think about so many different things happening.
That's kind of like super hot.
What I really like about it is the idea of everything happening as soon as you initiate the action. So, like, run to the restroom, come back.
Let's see.
I realized like this. So
I want to go to like one of their pieces of gameplay.
Coming out
like right here. Here we
everywhere at you.
That shit gets
and
nuts.
You have to be very skilled at dodging them because usually in bullet hells you have it's one hit kill or maybe 3 hits kill, which is not the case in Chronosphere. But those are bullet hells, right? And then you mix that with turn-based tactics, with games like XCOM or Wargroove, stuff like that, and then you get something really special because bullet hell games
coming soon. All right, so like that's the video that I've been working on a little bit lately. That game's called Enter the Chronosphere. You can wishlist it on Steam right now.
I believe that game out the other day.
Yeah, you can wishlist that game on Steam. I believe it's going to be coming to PS5, Xbox, and Switch even. But I'll tell you right now, I'd want to play this game on PC because all you need is your mouse.
Make it easy.
Oh man, it was nice. I was just like, I mean, that's why I said that in the interview. I was like, it might look like I was bored from the outside looking in because I was just like posted, just like. I look like one of them South Park dudes, right?
Yeah, the South Park World of War guy or World of Warcraft.
I was looking like I was throwed.
It's like, hey, this guy work here or what? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, that game was hot though. That game was hot. That was one of my favorites though, for sure. That I got to play. And the dude that I was interviewing told me that he'd be able to possibly like hook me up with some guys to talk to maybe interview about this game and stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But yeah, absolutely. It really
I think indie games are like on the rise nowadays. Like
facts.
The amount of creativity that's they're like injecting into the industry and like just proving that you don't need a big budget to make a successful game. Palworld, for example. Like, I'm happy for indie developers.
Helldivers,
yeah.
Helldivers and Palworld both got like that. Like, it reminds me of something I heard off of 30 for 30 ESPN show. It was from the episode of the Pony Excess with them talking about SMU, and how they had a bunch of illegal players.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, this coach took this job. He thought he was getting on a train. Oh, it's going to be nice. It's going to be got a lot of good players and it's going, 100 miles an hour. It's fine. Then he actually gets on the train. He finds out it's going 500 miles an hour. And oh shit, what's going on? And how do I get off of this train? That's pretty much what happened to the Palworld in Helldivers developers. They opened their game up and got hit. They got hit.
That's the thing. Like, the thing about indie games, for the most part, is since they don't have a big budget to work with, they've usually just focused on 1 or 2 things in the gameplay, and they do a really good job at doing those 1 or 2 things. Like Helldivers, just objective-based gameplay, but they do a really good job to make sure you're like enjoying that the objectives.
Go up here and hit left, right, up, down, right, up.
Yeah, exactly. Like something so simple, like Dance Dance Revolution with your thumbsticks. Like,
traveling Dance Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. And like we're AAA developers nowadays, they're just trying to make an everything game all the time. It's got to have open world. It's got to have RPG elements. It's got to have a skill tree. It's got to have character customization. Like, they do too much, and then jack of all trades but master of none. Type of deal.
Yeah, kind of. Like I kind of see what you're saying, especially when it comes to like when some of these developers try to make these single player games. It's like it's hard to bounce like you used to do back in the day because a lot of the games back in the day were short and they were meant to just understand, get in and get out, and it also made replayability easy because they weren't fucking 30-40 hour games, right?
Games, yeah.
But now it's just like every game that comes out from a big time developer, if it's a single player game, it's trying to be the all in one game.
Yeah, exactly.
It has everything to do in this game, and you'll never leave this game. And then they wonder why their next game fails because everybody's still in the old game. Right? It's like they thought the old game was better, so they didn't go to the new game, or they went to the new game and found out that it just wasn't as good as the old game.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's very interesting. Ray Chi in the chat. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back. I'm already kind of winded, man. I did a 2-hour podcast right before this. I'm telling you, bro. But I'm definitely happy to be kicking it with a brother of mine instead of a person I've never met before because I would be struggling. But
okay, sir, and what's your middle name? You know,
right? I'd be just throwing questions on the. I usually do questions on the fly. That's the way I like to do it. But when I get tired, I start asking dumbass questions.
Yeah.
Right. I could.
What's Joe Rogan's favorite?
Out at PAX. I really figured that out at PAX. I was like, there was a couple times at PAX where I just was like telling myself, I was like, dude, I can't do an interview right now.
You seen that Dana White clip where he goes on a podcast?
Oh no!
And they ask him, "What's Joe Rogan's dream?" Because that's
like, I'm Dana White. He drugged that out too. He made her feel it. Nobody likes that girl. I feel bad for that girl. Nobody likes her. Too
bad.
They just use her for clout to pretty much be able to like throw shade at her. Pretty much. She says some wild shit though, so she kind of does it to herself. But yeah, I mean, people definitely take advantage of it. And whatchamacallit, Dana White went to town on her.
What's Joe Rogan?
You just think I was Joe Rogan? You think I was Joe Rogan? It's like, yeah, dude, you made a mistake. She's not probably a big UFC person. No, she isn't a big UFC person. Just so happens to be on the show.
That's like when you had
Seamus
Black.
You know who the fuck you're interviewing.
Yeah, that's when you had Seamus on the show, and imagine asking him, "So what's Jim Ryan's dream?"
Right,
Jim Ryan.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, Jimmy? What's been going on? What's been going on there? Herman Holst, how you doing?
Herman Holst, yeah.
But anyway, so Ray Chi in the chat said Power World $30 plus Helldivers $40 equals $70. Suicide Squad $70.
Yeah.
He put the trophy next to Power World and Helldivers and put the trash can disrespectfully next to Suicide Squad. But I don't think he's meaning purposely just to be like, FWB or anything like that, as much as he's saying like value.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel like you get a ton more value when you get 2 games versus 1. And I remember that back in the day being the same thing. Like even back when the PS2 and the OG Xbox or the original PlayStation and the N64 and stuff like that. I remember, just being that little kid and being like, hey now, my mama told me I got $100. Now I can fuck around and get 1 game and like a memory card or something like that, or I can try to finesse my way into getting like 4 games in like a memory card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm finna hit this clearance section and sweep.
Yeah, what are the games called? Those like little bin sections.
Oh, bro, those bin sections were evil.
Dude, I go there all the time.
I know, you get them scratchy ass discs.
Yeah, half the time the games didn't work. They're like $5, $10.
Hell yeah! So, shit, some of the stores had like dollar bins.
Oh yeah,
but they were like really bad, like just sports games. Pretty much.
Walmart had those good bins where they were still wrapped in the plastic, but nobody bought them. You know, so I remember being excited to go Walmart all the time.
I remember those bins because they had the DVD bins too.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they throw video games in there. I remember that. And I was like, just digging through all these like crap movies and like just to try and find any video game.
So, shout out to the brother that I also met at PAX, Mr. Geek Life Mike. He says, "Let's go, Ham. Much love, and I hope and have a dope show. Thank you, thank you, brother. I appreciate the $5 super chat." From Geek Life Mike says, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. And it was really good meeting you in person, being able to chop it up. And I believe I have him marked down for an interview. And I'm gonna look that up see what day it is. And see, this is why I put shit in my calendar, because I don't be remembering shit. Yeah, I have him on here next Thursday, same time as this one. And I got Sav the very next week after, but on a Saturday, Lord Sav.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'll be a fun interview for sure. I've been waiting to get. He's the last Iron Lord that I haven't interviewed, and it's been like by a long shot.
The last Iron Lord to fail.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm excited for that one. But I'm also excited for Geek Life Mike, because it'll be good to kind of chop it up and hear what he all did and had going on over at PAX. Because although we talked a little bit over there, we didn't really talk about like his experience there or his background or anything like that. So it'll be really good to get to meet the brother. And yeah, I got pretty much the next month set up for Behind Them Sticks already. I just haven't been too vocal about it. But anyways, moving forward. So you said the PS2 was your favorite.
PS2
had some great games on it, but then you said that you ended up getting the Xbox. Why'd you end up getting the Xbox?
My dad got me the Xbox. So he ended up getting me an Xbox like a year after it came out with Indiana Jones. And the reason why he got it was because of Halo. I actually got Halo 2 first before I got the first Halo, Combat Evolved. And because, you know, when you go to GameStop, back in the day, those guys would like try to convince you to buy like the latest and greatest all the time. And they convinced my dad to get Xbox for Halo, and he thought it looked cool. And we actually played a bit of the campaign together, and that was a really neat experience. Still no online. I didn't play online, but yeah, one of my best memories was Halo on the Xbox, and also Knights of the Old Republic, which is probably my favorite game of all time.
KOTOR is your favorite game of all time?
I play it once a year. I beat it once a year.
Okay.
I have it on my phone. I have it on iOS. I have it on Android. I have it on the Switch, PC, Xbox.
What about it is so legendary to you in particular? Like, what's that part that keeps you wanting to repeat?
So when I was like a little kid, like I was a huge Star Wars fan. Like I went to watch Empire Strikes Back like 6 times in the theaters because I love Star Wars. And I would watch. We had the DVDs. I would watch the old trilogy like back to back like 10 times, I think. And so I was like super familiar with the Star Wars universe, and I was always like wanting more. And when I played KOTOR for the first time, it was Star Wars, but it was like a whole new universe of Star Wars. It was like it's hard to explain. It's like familiar but different. It's like when you get like to a new part of the map and it's like completely different from the rest of the game. Like Elden Ring, like when you got to like Hogwarts, or when you got to like the Lothric Kingdom. It was just like a really eye-opening experience, and it was like the storytelling in KOTOR was way more in depth, and you were way more involved than you would with like the movies, where it's just more like a spaghetti western in space. And Sensei said my first ringtone was Duel of the Fates. I was actually one of those kids that would like go up to the TV and record like a music video and then use that as my ringtone when I was like a little kid. But
I used to do
yeah.
that shit too.
And plus the plot twist in KOTOR, it was such a crazy plot twist. Like, if you've never played the game before and you don't know anything about the series and you played that game and you got to the plot twist, it was like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it because even though it's an old game, the remake's just around the corner. But it was like something you did not expect, with your main character being kind of like the villain of the whole story. So it was a really good game.
How do you feel like it holds up after all these years?
I mean,
like,
if you
not
don't,
the phone version, I'm talking about like,
yeah,
like if you were to just bust it out on your PC.
I think like the graphics aren't, the greatest, but they're not. I mean, it's not like horrendous. Like you could still play it and enjoy it. I think the biggest hurdle for most people trying to get into it like today would be the kind of turn-based combat. It's not really turn-based, but it's kind of a mix between turn-based and action-based, where like everyone's continually like acting out, but you can pause the combat and then go back into it when you like with a different move or whatnot. It's kind of confusing to explain if you haven't played it before. But the story wise, it's still great.
I haven't played it before.
You should. I feel like that should be one of the retro games you play. It's not that long of a game. It's like 15 hours to finish.
Oh no, I'm not gonna go through my list right now. I have like 70 games, but just for the OG Xbox.
Oh, dude, you could get it for $1 on like GG deals or something like that, like for Steam. And I suggest playing it like when you have the time and you got some backlog games to go through. Like definitely go through KOTOR on your top priority.
I could see why. I mean, I'm working my way slowly through the Metal Gear Solid series now. Whenever I have time, because I've never went through those games because I didn't like them that much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Isn't KOTOR like a turn-based, right?
It's like a mix between turn-based and action-based. It's not really like taking turns, but you can pause the combat to hit the enemy with like a different move anytime throughout the combat. So
okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like a Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah,
kind of. Where it just kind of stops, you pick the move, and then you continue.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot like that.
Gotcha. Now I'm following you. All right, so shout out to Epic Gamer with the $2 super chat, and thank you for the reminder because I did not see that because I was too busy messing with DaVinci Resolve and trying to show you guys that gameplay of Enter the Chronosphere. But he said, tell Vinny to tweet, just build a PC.
I just build a PC, baby.
So yeah, let's get into that real quick. Because this guy was hardcore on his Xbox for the most part, and then you played quite a bit of PS5 as well when you had time.
Yeah.
Or more or less not when you had time, but when there were games on there interesting to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why the change up all of a sudden, and also why is it so hard to go back now?
So I mean, last year I was planning to build a PC regardless. At the time, I just wanted to build a PC just for content creating and just like kind of experience games at like a higher resolution and higher frame rate, but it wasn't like super necessary. So I was taking my time with it. It wasn't until like recently, I would say since Starfield was announced like 30 FPS, I felt like, oh man, I really got to build a PC now. And then Xbox, I had a feeling that 30 FPS was going to be kind of the norm with Xbox first party games, and not just first party, but third party as well. Whether it was on the Xbox or the PS5, I feel like it was going to be the same regardless.
Yeah, because they're so busy chasing realism that.
Oh yeah, chasing resolution. That's the worst part. I hate that. I hate that they got to force the players to play at 4K at 30 FPS. Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, it's like 90% of the time you see a game that looks unbelievable, you're just like, yeah, it's probably gonna be 30.
Yeah, exactly. HellBlade too.
Or it's more or less gonna run best at 30 FPS.
Exactly, on consoles at least, But that was when there was a couple games last year too that were like didn't run the best on consoles, like Hogwarts, Star Wars, yeah, Jedi Survivor. Oh my god,
60 FPS was broke forever.
Yeah, apparently it runs better on console now than it does on PC, but don't quote me on that. People say the PC port's still broken. But Hogwarts Legacy was another one. That game at 60 was horrible. You had to play at like 40 or whatever the balance mode was to like have a enjoyable experience. And Starfield, Final Fantasy. Oh, Final Fantasy 16 was like horrible, terrible. People like try to downplay how bad the performance was. It was dog shit. Sorry, like that was a big. I forgot about that. That was a big factor in me like getting a PC too. Was the way Final Fantasy.
I remember that specifically because you were telling me how you're gonna get that game. You're gonna get that game. You're gonna get that game, and I was just like, I'm good. And then you're like, I'm gonna get the game anyways. I'm still gonna get it. And then I ended up playing more than you.
Yeah, you did.
Because you're just like, dude, I cannot play it at this frame rate. It is. He's like, because you wanted to play it at 60.
Yeah.
In 60. The best way, even Digital Foundry came out and said, yeah, you want to play this at 30.
Yeah. Horrible. So it's like the game at launch, 60 was like 720p and it used FSR 1, dude. Oh my God. FSR 1 should be illegal. Like it looks like dog crap, bro. Just like the ghosting. It just looks like mush on the screen. Like you're just watching mush move. And it legitimately made me sick playing Final Fantasy 16. I was like, I can't do this. And 30 FPS was like not bad, but I think even that mode used FSR, which just something about FSR 1. It's like you have motion blur on even when you don't. And it makes me feel like motion sick, like just playing the game. And so I couldn't. And so now I'm just waiting for the PC port for that game. So last year, yeah, it was a big defining factor in me getting like finally pushing to get a PC. So I started slowly buying the parts. And now that I'm on PC, like, dude, I don't really see a reason to go back to console. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, I enjoy the couch experience more. Well, I don't enjoy paying $60 to $80 every year to play online. I also don't enjoy being restricted to one marketplace like PC. Like you have Steam, you also have key shops you can buy from. And like with the PC, you can play the games the way you want to play them. Like you can turn down the resolution if you're having issues with frame rate, or you could turn down the graphical fidelity if you wanted to raise the resolution. Like there's so many ways you can just play the games how you want to play them. And I want to play games at 60 FPS or more. And I knew I wasn't going to get that on console. And relevant today, man. HellBlade 2 was announced 30 FPS. And a part of me feels like it's because of the Series S, but they won't tell us that.
I gotta ask, do you feel like after now Starfield being out and it, the way it plays on Xbox Series S and X, a lot of people say it's really good at 30 FPS. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
It was a good 30 FPS, but it's still 30
because
FPS.
There is good 30 FPS and then there's
Yeah,
very
like,
motion blurry 30 FPS. Like for instance, when I mean, still pretty much to this day, kind of. I mean, it runs a little bit better, but especially like early on with like games like Quantum Break,
oh yeah,
that 30 FPS was rough.
I tried playing it again. I was like, I can't do it. It's not like it still kind of runs like crap.
Yeah, that 30 FPS was jarring.
Horrendous.
It was a great game, but it's just like, man, if I could get the frame rate on this game right, this game could be like top dog.
Why is Son of Rome had good 30?
Yo, that doesn't get enough love right there for the frame rate right there.
Also, Dead Rising 3, I think was pretty. I think that game was 32.
Now, how do you feel about like? Well, you probably haven't played it on console. I was gonna say Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma 2. So the first game was 30 FPS. It was pretty good. Like on console, like you could still play it on Xbox Series X or PS5 and have a good time. Like the 30 FPS doesn't feel bad at all. And I think that's just because the frame timing is really good. So it doesn't feel like super stuttery.
Okay.
But
all right. But now, like moving from that to like now we got, HellBlade that just got announced.
Yeah.
And it's shown off and it looks, I'm not gonna lie, watching the YouTube clips and whatnot, I'm assuming that some of these people are playing on Xbox.
Yeah.
We don't know, right? I don't remember it saying running on Xbox. But do you think that it's going to be the same type of jump off like it was for Starfield, where for the console Series S and X, it was pretty good. It was a good 30 FPS.
I'm sure the 30 FPS is going to feel good. Like, I don't think Ninja Theory is going to, because if you played the first game, I think the first game was 30 FPS on.
It was.
Yeah.
It was
like that game ran fine. Oh yeah, at some parts, but I think with the more money that they got now, they're able to optimize it a lot more.
And, it's not even.
And
it's not even the same game anymore.
Yeah, and I don't think Xbox is gonna make a 30 FPS game, like strictly 30 FPS, and have it run bad too. That's like that's like walking into two rakes, like back to back. So I think it'll run well, like Starfield. But again, no matter how well it runs, it's still 30 FPS. It's not the smoothest experience you could get out of the console.
So although it works, now it's like, I mean, like I said, that Series X,
is
like a portable console for you now. So it's like something that you'll only play, if you travel back to go see family, friends, or whatnot. Then then you can use it then, or really if you don't feel like leaving the bedroom, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right now my Xbox is in our bedroom, so
because I did that a lot. I did that a lot with Starfield, right?
Yeah.
So like Starfield, and that's what makes that whole ecosystem thing with Xbox so damn dope, right? Because it's just like I'm playing Starfield on my PC at like 100 FPS plus, right? And then I hop over to my Series S in the front room because the wife needs to use the PC, continue from where I left off. Oh, the daughter wants to watch TV out here. Hop on my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's that can't be looked past. That's too dope.
Yeah. Yeah, like portability, like console still win, but I mean, and like convenience wise as well. If your game crashes or whatnot, you just turn your Xbox back on, and it'll probably work like fine. But with PC, it's like sometimes you'll run into issues where you get an error code and like, oh, now I gotta look at what the error code is and I gotta run diagnostics. Like, I think that's the only annoying part of PC.
Sure, absolutely. With asking about that and the shifts kind of going more into PC gaming more than ever before, I mean, it's obvious that the PC has such a large lead in front of these consoles, right? It's not even fair at all. Like damn near half a GPU of a 4090 is still stronger.
Yeah.
One of these consoles, right? So it's just like, I gotta ask you, like, how do you feel both Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo, but I mean more or less, and I'm saying less Nintendo, but how do you see the adjustment being made from, all right, well, we're shipping the PC now more. How do you think the consoles change with that being done? Xbox has been a big topic on this in particular.
You know what? I think consoles are gonna start having shorter generations. Like, and the whole reason why they ship on PC is to supplement the cost of the total budget of their gaming divisions. Plus, it's kind of like the, I don't know. I don't want to say crutch, but it kind of helps them keep their console generations, have a little more longevity by releasing on PC, because now they can make a little more money to prevent them from making another console. But I think it's gotten to the point where, like, cost and demand is just so high right now. Demand even more so. Like, people are very vocal now about not wanting to play games at 30 FPS and wanting like more out of their consoles. Like, this wasn't what they're expecting. And I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more consoles like very soon, just like popping out, like boom, 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 boom. Like, I think Xbox is making that handheld, which I don't know is a good idea or a bad idea. Depends how well they do it. And then I think after that, 2025, they're just going to announce a new console that comes out either end of 2025 or 2026. And I think PlayStation might be right after them in 2026. I don't think we're going to have 7-year generations anymore.
Okay, let me give you 3 options, and I want you to tell me which one do you think is most likely.
Okay.
All right. So option number 1, a platform. I'm not going to say Sony, Xbox, or Nintendo. I'm just going to say a platform does this.
Okay.
Which one do you think is most likely to work best of the 3? The first one is a new style of a console is made that has upgradable hardware that could be attached to it, similar to what like a Sega Tower of Power used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's option A. Option B, just turn the console into a PC. So then you have your own sliders per version of said console. So then you can make like an Xbox or PlayStation Series S type of thing and have like the less powerful thing, but able to play every single game because it reaches bare minimum specs. So it like 2050 pretty much, or what would be now like a 3050, right?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, or maybe even going into the 40s, but I doubt it. I feel like it's too soon for that. And then lastly, on the last end, I wanted to say, do the last thing that you were kind of referring to in just making each generation super short, but then just kind of ripping off the number instead of saying PlayStation 7, it's just like 0.0 or 2.0 or this 0.0 or like just calling it PlayStation. Flat out. Like what they did with Forza. They didn't call it Forza Motorsports 8, they just called it Forza Motorsports.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like upgradable, but you'll still have to get new hardware. Like a completely new rig almost every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So which one do you think is more likely? The tower that you attach stuff to, the thing just becoming a flat out PC, or short generations, but I don't know, a lot of new hardware over and over and over?
That's an interesting question because I think each company, like I can see each of the companies doing one of those scenarios like differently. So like with the first option with the attachable upgrades and whatnot, I can see Nintendo doing that because they really don't want to release new consoles. It's been like 8 years since the Switch came out, and they're no strangers.
They're going for records.
They're no strangers to like upgradable attachments. Remember the graphics packs from the N64 days?
Right. I got one in my 64. Yeah, the little red thing.
Yeah, exactly. We had to play those games and
fucking Donkey Kong and Perfect Dark and shit.
Yeah, Star Fox too, I think.
Yeah, Star Fox as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Nintendo, the reason why they haven't released the Switch 2 yet is because they're still trying to iron out the kinks of that. And as far as the PC, like turning Xbox or turning a console into PC, I can see Xbox doing that. Just because they're already going multi-platform, and so the hardware is just going to be more of like a side thing for them, I think. And they're just going to kind of release hardware where, hey, if you don't want to build a PC, like the Xbox is essentially a PC, like
just like the Surface.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't want to build a work home rig and whatnot, just get a Surface. Or you don't want this technical crazy editing thing, just get this Surface Studio.
Yeah, exactly. Like Xbox, I think they're leaning away from the hardware, not completely abandoning it, but kind of evolving their hardware space. And then with the final option, I can see PlayStation doing shorter generations because they're more of the traditional platform. They don't like change. They don't want to, step outside of their comfort zone. But at the same time, they have to adapt and make moves so that they're not left behind. And so I could see them sticking the traditional route, releasing newer consoles, but shorter generations, which,
This man hit D and said all of the above.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think any of those scenarios can apply to like
Nintendo is A, Microsoft is B, and PlayStation is C.
I think overall C is the more likely
old men.
outcome. I think C is, but I don't know, man. Hardware costs it's so expensive, especially to keep up. Like, how do you like control your overhead? Like, do you just make 10 million consoles and then work on the next one, or
how do you maintain keeping it easy for developers to keep up with you?
Yeah, exactly. So they're all likely and unlikely at the same time. Like, it's hard to say right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see A working for Nintendo though, because they like to do things for their own consoles.
Yeah,
a lot.
And
I mean, hell, they had people using cardboard, bruh.
Yeah, $60.
Come buy some $50 cardboard.
You want this telescope? This cardboard telescope? $80.
Yeah, man, it was nuts.
People bought it.
And seeing that, I was like, I seen the cardboard. I was like, what's inside it? And they're like, this is it. Cardboard. And I was like, no fucking.
No, where's the real thing? I don't want to see the first draft. I want to see the real thing. That's the real thing, sir.
Told me the cardboard was the hardware.
That's the cardware.
That shit was nuts. Okay, so as for so that's the way that you kind of look at like when you take a step back and look at the horizon, that's what you kind of see with PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. As for PC, do you think they'll ever kind of slow down? Because it's just like the 40 series was just out. Now they're talking about 50 series already and stuff like that. And it's just like, I know you're kind of fresh onto the scene when it comes to PC, so I'm not asking you anything insane. But I'm just like kind of wondering, like, as somebody that kind of just joined the space, and I'm kind of speaking for myself as well, because I got the 3080 and I thought I was the shit, and then a year fucking by, and then it's obsolete, and it's just like,
Max over here. I got a 4080, baby.
so it's just like as soon as you roll your car off the lot, it's gone. Like
you lost value.
Yeah, that value is that shit is gone. So like, and that's not even to say our shit isn't even powerful, because I mean my 3080 didn't work. My 3080 still does great. It's just like so like the technology of this shit
is just advancing.
Nuts. Like I was one generation off of frame gen. Think about that.
Yeah,
I was less than a year away from like frame generation. That's nuts.
Yeah,
we're actually maybe a year and a half, like almost 2 years.
Yeah, they say like
realistic. I think it's like every 2 years.
Yeah, like every 3-4 years. Yeah, I think that's the.
It feels like it was really, really recent. Like, let's see, I got my 3080 mid 2021. And
I think they came out in 2020, right?
It did. It came out like late 2020, I want to say.
Around the same time as the consoles.
Right. Exactly. And then I got mine 2021, but then the next what was it, like a year later they were advertising the 40 series.
Yeah.
And it really started getting pushed and being out there. A lot of people started getting it in 2023.
Yeah.
And now we're here in 2024 and they're talking about 50 series cards.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel as a new person into the PC and it's being like, oh man, my shit went from 1500 to 5. It ain't even really like that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you still can make bank off the card. I mean, hell, I could still make a good chunk of change of 3080. But it's just like that feeling that you get when you see like the same feeling I got when I bought my Steam Deck, and a week later the ROG Ally is on.
What's as powerful as
I'm
the
just
Steam
like, son
Deck?
of a bitch. Like, you God, mother. So yeah, first of all, welcome to the family. Welcome to the disrespectful family you will be chasing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you, how do you feel about the whole thing so far and like being part of that rat race?
I don't really mind. I mean, when I built my PC, like I built it with the mindset that I'm gonna have it for 5 years at least. Like, because it was a big investment. Like, it was expensive, man. It was. I don't want to. I mean, I've said the price before. It was like over $3,000, and it's not an easy $3,000.
No, it ain't.
Like, you really got to be into gaming for. And like, wanting to do other things than gaming if you really want to utilize the hardware. But to me, like, I'm not really like worried about new cards coming out because technology is going to advance. And it's better to have the option of upgrading rather than not having an option and being stuck. That's how I think of it. That's how I thought about consoles. You're stuck until the next console comes out. Where with like the cards, like you're getting a lot of life out of them, and you're also, getting newer cards that if you wanted to upgrade, you can. Like, you have the option. As far as the 50 series cards go, like even I get the like mindset like, oh man, maybe I should have waited for the 50 series.
Right.
But and then I remember like, well, it's probably gonna get scalped. It's probably I probably would have never gotten it just because I would have had to wait even longer to get a PC. And also, like, with the way Nvidia's talking, it feels like they're moving away from gaming and more into AI, just because that's what's making them bank right now. So if I was worried about one thing, it's just the PC space moving away, like PC hardware space moving away from gaming and more into like this industrialized, crypto mining and NFTs and AI research.
You know what I found kind of interesting is somebody said this not that long ago. I think it might have been Mike that said it. I don't remember. But they're like these. They were saying like these cards aren't even really giving us the FPS that we're even looking for. They're just giving us upscalers.
Yeah, essentially, right?
Right.
Yeah, like
kind of weird.
I mean, I'm fine with it. Frame gen is awesome. Like, you know,
you can't hate it. If it works, right?
I'll take the frames, man. Like, it feels good. I don't feel any different from what it would feel like rasterized. So, but I do understand the sentiment of like, yeah, these cards aren't really being utilized all that much.
Okay. All right. So, moving forward from there. So, where are we at? We're at about an hour of the time. So, I'd say we got another like 35, 40 minutes. Yeah. But in particular, I'm talking now next generation, because I feel like what we were talking about before with these other things with Nintendo, with Xbox and with PlayStation is kind of like looking much further down the line.
Yeah.
But looking closer to the buck, like we already know like Switch is coming out with a new console.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking particularly about the new Switch console quite yet. I'll move up to that. But I want to know what you think about them chasing the most sold console of all time, and then Jim coming out and saying, actually it's 160. and do you feel like when the Switch comes out with a new console that they'll make the regular Switch cheap enough to be able to compete with that? Because remember, the PS2, sure, they broke that record, but it was well into the PS3 era.
Oh yeah. PS2 was supported till like 2011. Like they didn't stop putting games on there until 2011. And the last game was, yeah, and it was a FIFA game or a soccer game. I remember that day. I was like, this is the last game that's ever going to be made. I don't know. Like with the 160 million, you got to keep in mind that the only way they achieved that goal too is because it was the cheapest Blu-ray device.
Well, so, DVD.
Oh, DVD. Yeah, sorry. Blu-ray was until PS3. But with Nintendo, I don't really think they care as much about hitting that goal as much as they do about being frugal with their budget. I don't think they're like, oh, we gotta hit 160.
Like, how long can we go?
Yeah, they're like
potatoes to everybody.
We're stretching this dollar till it's thin as ice, baby.
Ain't no beef in it. It's just strictly potatoes, and everybody just keep eating them.
This is just the potato skins at this point. So I think it's just them. Like, I mean, like, how do you move on from the Switch, right? Like, their last console, the Wii U, sold 13 million. The Switch is like well into 120, 140. And I think their biggest like fear is like, how do we transition our customer base from the Switch into a Switch 2 without like taking a huge hit in our regular revenue that we get yearly? So
how do we market to the people we just sold to?
Yeah. How do you catch lightning in the bottle twice, right?
And that's why I feel kind of some type of way about like even the Pro for the PS5, right? Because it's just like you had the PS5, and then you had the like revised PS5 with the smaller heatsink,
and
then you had the PS5 Slim essentially. And then now you're gonna have a Pro, and it's like it's still the same customer base.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, I mean, sure, I could see like enthusiasts being like, absolutely, I'm gonna get that. That ain't no problem, and I have nothing against those people. Like, if that's your platform, then that's your platform, and that's what you want them to do. I mean, they're very traditional, as you said. So, more power to them. But as for me, I'm looking at it like, well, I got a PC, so
yeah.
I mean, I got a PS5, but I also got a PC, and they're talking about ramping up the production for PC.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, the only time I could really see myself getting a PlayStation 5 Pro is clear after the generation.
Yeah.
Back when I'm thinking, I'm going to collect my consoles, and this PS5 I have isn't the best version of it. I might as well, it's $200, at this retro store.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Right? But like, as for like, am I going to spend $600 for that motherfucker when it comes out next year or whenever GTA 6 is supposed to drop?
And that's no guarantees either.
I'd rather play GTA 6 either on the console that I got, or on the Xbox until it hits the PC.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to spend $600 more because more than likely I'm not even sure if they'll have like a special version for it. If there's like a $10 upgrade or something like that, you get the Pro version. Like I ain't trying to do any of that. And then on top of it, I'd have to renew my subscription for them as well, which is another $100.
Yeah,
so now we're in $700. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could save myself $700 and just wait for it to come on PC.
Yeah. Like with the PS5 Pro, I mean, Chris.
Yeah, and Vince Vegas save that money and put it to a new GPU. I
mean, essentially,
anything,
right?
More RAM, anything.
Yeah, like people are like, well, I could trade in my PS5 and buy the new Pro for like $300 or $200, however much it is. I'm like, yeah, but you're still spending $300 more dollars on hardware that you already had, and also there's no guarantee that the Pro is going to do that much more performance versus the old reliable PS5, right? So better to put it somewhere where you're going to get performance gains rather than the chances, right?
I'm kind of using Starfield and Dragon's Dogma kind of by a scale of how it'd look, and I'm thinking if the new PS5 Pro came out, I already know I wouldn't get a smooth 60. Dragon's Dogma, that's not happening.
Because the CPU is still the same. It's just getting a 10% boost, which is essentially like nothing.
Same with Starfield. Like Starfield on PC, like there's a reason. Like, sure, maybe they could have pushed the Series X to get it, but I don't think it would have ever been a stable 60.
No, it probably would have been like between 45 and 60.
Yeah. So like, it's just
there's no guarantees.
That's a heavy CPU game, bro.
Yeah.
And all that stuff in the world's getting saved in real time.
And you still need you kind of still need frame generation. Like even with like a beefy GPU, you still kind of need frame generation to get like good frames. Like, so it's the CPU and the consoles.
$1,500. This man got a $1,500 graphics card and still got to check a box saying, "Add more, please, more, please,
please, DLSS quality." But it's crazy because when you think about the CPUs and the consoles, they're like the equivalent of a 5-year-old CPU, the 3700X from 2019. Underclocked, an underclocked version of that CPU. So
not even as good of a regular version of it.
Yeah, like I was telling one of my buddies, like I would much rather have Xbox or PlayStation invest in a better CPU and give us a more balanced performance rather than putting it all into GPU and then barely anything into the CPU aspect and the console not even lasting like what it was 3-4 years. Like Xbox isn't even in the mid. They just started mid-gen, and we're already back to 30 FPS. Like,
and that's for both of the consoles.
Well, PlayStation, they're still holding strong on their first party. Like they still make sure there's a 60 FPS. Yeah.
But what games?
Oh yeah, no, what games?
I mean, I'll give them their props for like Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah,
I'll give them their props for that, and also for Ratchet and Clank,
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, absolutely, Spider-Man. But a lot of the games are remakes.
Remakes or sequels, yeah.
So like it's cool, but like I'm really like I'm interested in like what's that new IP look like?
Yeah. What IP? Wow.
Well, like I'm pretty excited to hear what Santa Monica's been working on. Like I hope they're at this so-called event that's supposed to be happening in May. Same with maybe Naughty Dog. I don't know.
I don't think so.
But probably
Sucker Punch.
Like I'd expect Bend to be there, or maybe even dare I say, golly,
Insomniac's going to be there. Like,
oh
hey
please,
guys,
come on, give them a break.
We got a new game.
They can show up on stage with an inhaler.
After the last lashings, we made sure we boosted production even further.
But as for like the team, like I don't know why they're slipping my mind right now, but like Ghost of Tsushima's team,
Sucker Punch,
Punch, yeah. That's a Sucker Punch. Do you expect them?
Oh yeah,
possibly be there.
They'll be there.
You think so?
Yeah, I know for a fact they'll be there.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, cool. Well, anyway, so that's what to expect from. But you never really answered my question. So do you think, or actually you kind of did with the whole Switch, you think they're more or less trying to figure out how to maintain low cost,
stretch $1?
Yeah, stretch $1 for a long time. But now moving on to the new Switch, possibly, what do you anticipate to be like the new norm from Nintendo?
New norm, I think like we talked about, they're gonna just probably get into like upgradable docks, maybe. Like I can see that being a thing for Nintendo.
Dope. Can't lie.
Like
if I could put M.2 SSD into one of those docks, that would be thick.
And that's how you answer you would answer back compatibility, you know? Like instead of making a whole new system, you just make upgradable docks where you don't really have to worry about like how long Nintendo will take until the next generation of consoles, and how long or will it have back compat? Will it support this? Will it support that? I think that would probably be Nintendo's biggest answer. And like with the Switches, like I think in handheld mode, it's going to be very limited. If you have like an older Switch model, like, you can't play this game mobile, but you can play it on the new dock. So I think that's how they'll probably do it.
What happens if they don't even come out with a new handheld? They just come out with a dock.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. Like, as long as it has the performance.
Keep selling the same ass Switch.
Yeah, the same.
That'd be diabolical, but I could understand.
I mean, are they even thinking about doing like third-party games anymore? I think they're less.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean they signed that deal with Microsoft saying, "Hey, bring please."
I mean, like let's say games like Space Marines 2, Dragon's Dogma 2,
I still don't think that's their focus.
I think their focus is still going to be first party and exclusives.
I think they want more reach into that, and I think the next big thing to come from Nintendo is probably going to be more of an online presence.
Oh yeah,
because they suck. right now. Like just trying to get into a party chat with anybody or trying to link up with people and have.
I don't even think you can, right? On Nintendo Switch, like you got to use Discord or something.
Yeah, you got to use a phone app for it.
Yeah,
it's like a Nintendo like phone app kind of thing. I don't even know if it's like.
Oh, what the hell? I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, they have some fucking weird shit that goes on with their with their whole idea of party chats.
It's funny because I get charged $4 every month for Switch Online, even though I've never used it.
I get charged yearly at $20 a year.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I more or less just use it to be able to play like the old games and stuff like that they have on there, or just be able to keep games in my daughter's hands. Like, like it's kind of like more her Game Pass than it is mine. Because she enjoys the Switch more than I do. But she's been playing more on Xbox lately than Switch. She's really like Bluey.
Oh, okay.
What's that? Peppa Pig and and all those kiddie games. She loves those things. She likes those, and she knows how to use cloud gaming and also how to download games herself. So.
Oh, there you go.
It's pretty nice. But now let's move over to Xbox. So we covered Nintendo. So you think that it's a possibility that they could upgrade the console itself, but also make additional pieces to the hardware, like add-on pieces, almost like what Sega did with the Tower of Power. But now moving over to Xbox, their whole thing as of right now seems to be handheld, but they don't seem to have confirmed that they're anywhere near done with the under the TV set kind of consoles. And I really don't think anybody really should do that. Like, obviously Nintendo has a dock, right? So they still are marketing saying, hey, you can play it at your TV if you want, but as to where in Xbox seems like they kind of want to go the route Nintendo's kind of going, handheld. Do you think it's gonna kind of mess with their idea of under a console TV?
To be honest, like,
or under a TV console?
Yeah. Lately, like I honestly don't know, because Microsoft, as of late, they just seem like they're so undecisive on what they want to do next. Like, oh yeah, we're talking about doing a handheld, but nothing's confirmed yet. Like, we're just testing it. Like, oh yeah, we're talking about having Steam on the platform, but nothing's confirmed yet. Like, like I feel like they're kind of, if they do a handheld, I don't think it'll affect the under the TV console. But I think it may sway them to focus more on handhelds if it's successful. So it just depends on their success.
Okay. Do you think Xbox, with their whole idea of getting into mobile more, will include that with their idea of a handheld? Do you think you'll be able to play like your Candy Crushes and stuff like that on the handheld device?
Oh yeah, I think it's I think it might be the first open source platform for Xbox. Because with all the talks of Steam and whatnot, I mean, you can't have a closed platform and also have the Steam shop on your handheld or your console or whatever, So I think they're definitely thinking of just going open source. Like, hey, if you do want to use the Xbox aspect of our consoles, you can do that, or you can just use it as essentially like a glorified PC.
Yeah. And I was talking about this on this show I had literally right before this. That's like the only way that you could ask Steam for their platform to be on your console is if your console itself was a PC.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
In which would allow Xbox to finagle with the settings. right?
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing right now. I think they see the surveys, they see like the outrage, like people aren't happy about playing games at 30 FPS. They don't care about resolution. They care about having a smooth experience, like an enjoyable.
There's
experience.
just different people, right? So there's Lemon that says, "Hey, 30 FPS, I'm good."
Yeah,
I like cinematics. He's Mr. Resolution.
Yeah.
There are certain people that are Mr. Resolution or Mrs. Resolution, and then there's Mr. and Mrs. FPS.
Yeah.
And it's just two different courts. And if you try to smash them both together, it usually doesn't always end up too perfect, as we've seen with like third-party developers, like with Jedi Survivor and stuff like that. It's just like you tried to mash that into these consoles, and you're ending up stripping away something that you really wanted to implement. Like remember they tried to force ray tracing.
Oh yeah, that was a horrible idea.
You were trying to fight for ray tracing all the way up until the end, and then they had to take it out.
Yeah, and it's not a smooth experience. Game runs just
all of a sudden, it works. Yeah. And I'm sure they knew it as well, but they didn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, because they had that 4K target. They had to hit upscaled 4K. So, yeah, I think Xbox is probably looking into going open source, or at least just having your console just run Windows. If they can do that, then I might get a new Xbox.
Have a good operating system behind it, so you're not looking at a fucking desktop when you turn on your console.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe they partner with Steam and just make it like a kind of personified OS, like the Steam Deck has. Who knows? Like the possibilities are pretty endless with the ideas of Xbox having Steam. Like it just sounds foreign to us now, but like maybe we'll just have to see what they have to show.
How crazy do you think it is to have Phil Spencer saying, "Hey, I'd like to team up with Gabe and have their platform on ours"? How much do you think that diminishes the Xbox brand? Because that's been like the talk of the town as of lately. I mean, obviously, every single time Xbox has any sort of news, it's like the sky's falling. But in particular, and knowing like the rapport Microsoft kind of has with Steam and those guys over there.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole idea of partnering up? Here, you get a little bit of the pie, I get a little bit of the pie.
I think it makes sense. Like Phil Spencer he'll kind of erase a lot of his problems that he has with his consumers with Steam being on the Xbox. Gabe gets more commission and a big partner in the industry with Steam and being on consoles.
Service.
Yeah, and a subscription service. I think if they want to, if they really are serious about it, they'll make it work.
What's the likelihood behind what Usovinny thinks about this whole situation of this being a possibility? Do you think that this looks like something that, I'm not asking if you could see it happening. I'm asking you, will it happen? More or less.
Will it happen?
How do you feel about that? If somebody said, "Yo, tell me right now," or I'm actually telling you that right now. I'm saying, "Yo, tell me right now, is this happening?"
I think it will happen. If they're already talking about it and it's public, I think it will happen. Now, will it happen? Will it, be good off the jump? I don't know. But I think they're going to try and make it happen. Especially if it's out in the public and they're telling people about it, there's definitely something going on with Steam and Xbox. So I think they're trying to figure out how to piece everything together where it's a smooth experience, seamless, but also, it's not too disruptive to each other's businesses.
No, not at all. I mean, in fact, I think it's actually, I mean, it's extremely beneficial for Microsoft, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
they're getting it's almost like, you know, rising from the dead a little bit, and especially in the PC space in particular, especially in the PC space.
I think this would be the right move forward after a bunch of steps backwards.
For Steam, it's the promise of all these great titles from Xbox coming to their platform, things that they didn't have access to, like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
In the past and stuff like that. Not having to feel like they're fighting BattleNet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The less and we're not talking about, you know, this little game right here. We're talking about fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah, that would be huge revenue numbers.
We're talking about WoW.
The Diablo,
Overwatch, mobile games.
That just, you know, that's 30% on 30% on 30% in Gabe's pockets, you know.
And those are games that are promised to sell every time. Even if the game sucks, it's gonna sell.
Still gonna sell.
Like, how many Call of Duties did we say, oh man, this is not great, but somehow it's breaking some new record?
Yeah, and you know, like Steam, they hate Epic. So like doing this would definitely like help them like kill Epic off, and Steam being like the main platform for buying your games.
Damn, that's cold. The Gina says, I think with iOS and Android facing lawsuits regarding how closed marketplaces are on their devices, and with the UK PlayStation lawsuit, Microsoft may be getting ahead of the curve by opening up the platform. That is something to talk about. I'm not even gonna lie, because the whole problem and the whole thing between the FTC and the CMA was, you guys are gonna take this and be selfish.
Yeah,
that was like the whole argument for everybody, and it was the same thing for like fanboys and stuff like that on the street. They were just like, Microsoft's just buying up the industry and they're just not going to share anything anymore. They're just going to take our games away. They're going to take our games away. Like, that was the whole argument, right? But here we are with this situation that looks oh so familiar from the past of like Apple and Microsoft, and Apple steps on a rake.
Yeah.
And instead of Microsoft saying, ha ha, steel toe, sucker. Like, instead of like putting their foot on the neck of them, they'd toss them a mushroom and say, get your ass back up. You good. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we understand that we're dumb dominant, and we're gonna make you buy shit from us. That's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you escape that.
Yeah, they're a software company, man. Their idea is like sell the software wherever you can. So, and I think with what the Gina said also, with PlayStation, man, they really screwed up by monopolizing the digital marketplace. A lot of people don't understand that PlayStation restricted like the keys and everything, and so like, or keys being sold by third parties, like how PC keys are sold, or Xbox even has keys sold.
Yeah, CD keys, G2A, all those.
Yeah, exactly. And with Microsoft, I don't think it's more of a worry that they'll get in trouble with the law, but I think it's more of, you know, they're going to do it before everybody else is forced to do it.
Yeah, so where leader, right?
Yeah, where everyone is saying this as a negative impact to their business, Microsoft is potentially seeing this as, hey, this can actually help us. And like, you know, the UK and the EU probably have a good point. Like, if we just do our software everywhere, we could probably make a lot more money.
I know it's kind of like a dirty tactic a little bit, kind of, in a way, because it's almost like, this is the way I kind of look at it. Like, are you familiar with The Office?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So, you know the episode where they're doing the fun run?
Oh yeah.
And Andy's all running behind old boy to to draft them.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, there was a part in that I was just like, oh, that kind of reminds me of this situation where Stanley, they shoot off the gun. Dwight's using a real fucking gun. he shoots off his fucking long Colt or whatever that motherfucker is. And as the race starts, everybody runs, and Stanley and a couple other folks look like they're running, but they run and hop into a cab.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cab takes them to the end of the race.
Yeah, they're forced to do it anyway, so they might as well get ahead.
And that's what Xbox is doing. They're like, oh, Steam, it'd be nice to work even closer to you.
It's like, oh, you know what?
That's a good idea. Your cab.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You know, like, well, why don't we partner up with Steam? The traditional way of consoles are just, it's dying off. Like, they have to adapt. Like, everybody has to adapt. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. All right. And then lastly, okay, but before I end off the Xbox part, and then like after we hit the PlayStation part, then I'm gonna get to the quick hitter questions. We're gonna get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
But for the last bit of the Xbox part, under the TV hardware, how do you feel like this gets changed at all? Especially with Sarah Bond being out here saying this is going to be, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, just
the strongest thing ever. Like, they said that about the Series X,
with the rumors of them partnering up with Intel.
Like,
I think that would be really easy for them to just kind of make a mini piece Intel PC with the Xbox brand and put it under people's TVs. And I mean, Intel like has no issues running like Windows or like they have no issues with games. It's pretty like what's the word? Free flowing as far as like ease of use. I mean, their Battle Mage GPUs are getting up to date. So yeah, I don't think the under the TV console is going anywhere. I just think it's evolving to something that we won't be familiar with.
No, absolutely. I said that on the podcast right before this. I was like, yo, if console gaming, if gaming itself as a whole is evolving, and for instance, Destin said in one of his last shows that only 14% of gamers in Japan have consoles as their one and only.
Yeah.
14%. Exactly. Crazy. Right? So with that being said, it's just like, if this is the trend that's growing forward and you're starting to see PlayStation games and Xbox games go to be playable on things like a Steam Deck and other devices, stuff like that, something's got to give. Console market's gonna lose sales
every time.
It's gonna lose sales. The only person that's really holding up console sales super stupid strong is Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of their first party their first party games. Yep. They carry them. As to where third party carries Sony and Xbox.
100%. And I think we're going to see like the lines between PC and console get more blurred with new generations. Like I think 5 years from now, you're not going to really be able to tell the difference between a PC and a console, other than where you put one or the other and what one's used for more and what's one used for less.
Look at these stats right here. Not sure how well you can see it.
Yeah, I could see it.
But yeah, that tells you a lot. This was
Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
No. I mean, Xbox has Starfield, but yeah, most of it is just all third party.
Pretty much all of it. Yeah, except Starfield.
Yeah, I won't count
on
Call
the
of Duty.
Xbox list. For PlayStation, there's not one exclusive of theirs up there. PC, I mean, it's not an exclusive box, so it's going to just have all your randomness.
Yeah.
I'm surprised The Sims is really doing that still.
Sims is big.
Well,
just because they have all those add-ons and DLCs, so
you look at Switch, it's a totally different story.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, Mario Kart,
Smash Bros, Animal Crossing,
Pokemon,
yeah,
Super Smash Bros. Yeah.
Totally different story. The only thing that's consistent is Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite's consistent everywhere. And they're still losing money. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a free game. People are trying to not pay. That's the whole point. For a lot of people, they do not want to pay for shit. And I'm one of them too. I don't want to pay for shit. But if I got to, I will. I ain't trying to pay for shit. All right. Well, let's go on ahead and hit these quick hitter questions. Where the fuck?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, sweet. So yeah. Oh wait, no, we didn't hit PlayStation, so we gotta hit the PlayStation piece.
Yeah, let's
so
take it real quick.
As for PlayStation, how do you think they maneuver after the so-called Pro comes out? So let's say PS6, or do they even put a number on it anymore? Or like how traditional do they keep it? Just go off.
I think they're gonna still keep going traditional route until they just can't anymore. I was telling people, like, unless PlayStation really like evolves, and I'm not saying this because I'm an Xbox guy, I'm saying this as like from a realistic standpoint, like looking at their financials and how much overhead goes into console making, like unless they like figure out how to adapt their consoles where they don't have to worry about hardware sales every single generation, like they're setting themselves up for failure. Like they have to change. Everyone else is changing. They have to change. Like consoles also with like the younger generations are kind of losing interest. Like people see their streamers, their favorite streamers, and like Ninja, Kai Cenat, all these guys, XQC, Aiden Ross, they all PC game. So they all want to be like those streamers, and they all want to PC game, and they all want to stream on their PCs. So that's just popular with the younger generation, and I think PS5 or PlayStation is feeling that right now, where like, hey, we're like not hitting our goals like we thought we were. So what do? Do we release day and day on PC? Do we, make a PS5 Pro? Do we make a PS6? Do we like make it upgradable? Or I think they don't know what they're doing yet. So, okay. But I think they're gonna stick to the traditional route as long as they can.
Okay, I got two more questions pertaining to this PS5 part. Yeah, next one's gonna be, how do you feel PlayStation maneuvers when it comes to handheld gaming? Seeing that, obviously Microsoft's gonna take advantage of it.
No doubt on that.
How do you see them implementing it though right now, especially with seeing that they already had a piece of hardware that failed or seemingly failed in less than a year? Because it has to be scary. You just had this PlayStation VR 2 headset that you guys did all this, advertising and stuff for, and then you're sending it to PC. You're, shutting down studios that worked on that, piece of hardware. So it's just like, how advantageous can they be to go into the handheld market? Although there is clearly, I mean, they sold the hell out of the Portal, and that's not really even, an on-the-go handheld. Yeah. It's like an at-home or at somewhere static.
It's just like a second screen,
right?
That's interesting. I think with the handheld, they'll definitely jump on it. I think they're already planning to with like a new Vita that was rumored. But what I think is going to happen, I think the Vita is just going to have first party content or exclusives. I don't think it's going to have third party games running on it. I think that's how they control just like development and whatnot, and like prevent developers from like having to do all these things, like focused on the Series X and S and the PS5 and the PS Vita 2 or whatever. So I think it's just going to be a mainly first party platform, and then whoever wants to make games for it, they can. I don't think they're going to force people to do so.
All right, and then lastly, or before I get to that, the Gina in the chat said, "Need to shoot as it's 3 a.m. here. Want to shout out Vinny for his help when moving from Xbox to PC this past few weeks. Got some great sites from him now for when I upgrade in the future or buy my games. Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to
put in a good word.
Shout out to Mental 9R because he's the one that put me and Matt both on GG.
And me. Yeah, you guys put me on, so shout out Mental.
So that's who it came from, was Mental. Shout out to him because he because the word traveled. The word really did travel. Rachie says Xbox Windows machine sounds great until you remember you have to live with Windows Update. Well, I mean, everything has an update, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Xbox OS is kind of like a dumbified version of Windows.
Yeah, it is. I mean, every time I turn on my PlayStation, there's an update.
Yeah.
Every So yeah, I mean, all these machines just update. I can guarantee if I go turn on my Switch, it'll be like update. Shout out to all Fortnite players who spend money on skins so Epic can give me free games. Absolutely. Shout out to
absolutely. Baby.
Vincent Vega said they should do a re-Vita, pretty much saying they should do a new Vita. Vita hardware was way ahead. It was. The OLED screen and everything, that's insane. It was way ahead.
When I found out I had an OLED, I was like, that's insane. Why did Sony... Oh my god!
And they had the like touchpad on the back and everything. Yeah, that was pretty dope. That Vita was tough, and it had like its own like installed game that you play on it when you first get it.
Oh yeah, didn't they used to come with that Underdog movie, or what was that movie called? The skateboard movie. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, the PSPs used to come with this movie called Underdog, or Dog Race, something. It was a skateboard movie that was in all the PSPs. It was hilarious, but I think maybe somebody knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know about it. It says it all. Vince Vega said it also had Hall effect sticks. I don't know about that because my right stick is fucked up.
It had Hall effect stick. One stick had Hall effect.
Yeah, Hall effect. Right stick was dumb effect. But I don't know what it was. But yeah, my right stick ain't working quite right now. I need to get that repaired before I continue being able to play on it. But okay, the last question I had for the whole PlayStation future that you see, like near future, is the adaptation that is mobile gaming. What does that even mean for PlayStation?
Mobile gaming. Well, I think it'd just be like we talked about. If they do a mobile handheld, like they're gonna just ship their first party games on it. Like they're not really gonna focus on third party. It's all gonna be first party, and that would be a way for them not only to boost like their hardware sales, but also their software sales for like God of War, Horizon, and also like kind of like help recoup their costs. Because I think a lot of people got the Portal because they thought it was a PlayStation Portal where you could play Ragnarok and Forbidden West like on the go. But then a lot of people found out it's just a second screen that had a lot of latency.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm interested in seeing what they do for another handheld because they've always made really cool handhelds.
Quality too. I mean,
Yeah,
aside from your thumbstick, the Vita
yeah,
felt like
and the
premium.
right stick on the PSP stunk too. It was like that little. It looked like the top of like a microphone pad or something.
It turned into like a DJ turntable.
Yeah, I hated that thing. Like I used to play Madden, I hated that fucking thing. That was terrible. But all right, so now we're gonna hit these quick hitter questions and get the hell up out of here because I like to keep this podcast this specific show. I'm trying to keep around 2 hours now instead of 3.5 hour podcasts that I used to do and shit like that. I'm trying to stop all that BS. But
yeah, that's good.
But I gotta ask you real quick, brother. What of all the genres within gaming, which one does Usovinny dislike the most?
Oh man, dislike the most. As of lately, I'll give 2 answers. As of lately, action adventures. Aside from Dragon's Dogma 2, like action adventure games were just kind of like not great. Like Forbidden West, Jedi Survivor was okay. Like I expected more out of it. It was kind of a little too linear, but overall, probably RTS games. I'm not too big into RTS.
All right, real time strategy. Yeah, I haven't really seen you mess with any real time strategy games.
No, and simulators like train simulator. I don't understand that.
That sounds like a. I don't know. I'm also in the arc, so who am I to talk, right? I was gonna say it sounds like a job outside of a job, but I like arc.
You like flight sim,
and I like flight sim. So yeah, I'm one to talk. So I'm gonna redact my statements. So the next one is the best 3 games that you played in the last calendar year, whether they've been released in the last calendar year or not. So they can be totally old games.
Okay, so last calendar year would be Hogwarts Legacy, Starfield, and there's another game that came out last year. I can't remember.
Well, I mean, it's the last calendar year, so it could even be what came out this year too. So.
Okay. Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah.
Over Helldivers?
Yeah, over Helldivers.
Over Helldivers. Okay. So
Helldivers is great though. Helldivers is great. Yeah.
So you said Starfield, Hogwarts, and Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha. What is your favorite studio now? Like, what's your favorite gaming studio, and what game best represents it?
Favorite game studio right now would be
Gorilla.
No. Least favorite. Yeah. That's the least favorite right now. I don't know. Does Capcom count?
Well, if you have a game to go with it, yeah. I said,
yeah.
what's your... Oh, wait. What? Yeah. That's the question I asked.
Yeah, Capcom. Yeah, I think they've been on the high notes lately. So
they have Street Fighter.
Actually, even Exo Primal's good.
Exo, yeah, I was gonna say that. That game
Dragon's Dogma 2, Monster Hunter Rise,
Resident Evil
4. Like they've been killing it. As far as like maybe like a studio, maybe the people who make like Yakuza. I really like that studio. I can't say their name. Ryu Go Tentai or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they make good games.
Okay, so are you running with Capcom then?
Capcom, yeah, I would say Capcom. They're definitely
Okay, so Capcom is
goated
that studio as of right now,
studio publisher. Yeah.
and I'm assuming the game that represents it, Dogma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Dragon's Dogma 2, baby.
Matt's favorite game is Horizon Forbidden West.
Guys, if you haven't already, asking for some gameplay clips.
He's
He'll,
playing.
he'll
I
show
think
it to
he's playing. I think he's playing. What is it? The Shores.
Yeah, Forbidden Shores.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever that thing's called. Yeah, he's doing that. But anyways,
Jersey Shores.
Now what new games are you extremely interested in looking forward to playing that are announced whether they have dates or not?
I'll stick with dates for this year. Stellar Blade. Well, no, actually, no, cut Stellar Blade. I'm only kind of excited for that to see your reaction to the game. But Sandlands, Space Marines 2,
Sandlands,
and I would say even Avowed. Avowed is one I'm really excited for. I just love Western RPGs. So
okay, Avowed, HellBlade, and Sandland.
no, Avowed, Space Marines, and Sandland.
Oh, Avowed, Space Marine, and Sandland. Okay,
I'm not too into Hellblade 2. Like it looks really good, but
I gotcha. I understand. That's cool. If you were to revive two games that are dead IPs right now, what two games?
oh, you know what's funny? Before Dragon's Dogma and Armored Core came out, those were my two dead IPs. I wish they would revive. I would say maybe KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, even though it's kind of like up in the air still. Like Saber did confirm they're still working on it, so
yeah, they really wanted everybody to know.
Yeah, KOTOR remake, or KOTOR, and Steambot Chronicles. Man, I would love for them to Atlas to go back to that game.
Wow. So we went all the way back to the PS2. Hey, man. Some people go further back, so I ain't mad at you. What about gaming in general gets under your skin?
I think fanboyism. Like, oh man, I'm like a bit of a fanboy myself, but like sometimes if like the fanboys on Twitter gaslight you so much into having an opinion on like what kind of game you like or what console you like that it feels like you're going crazy, and then it just kind of makes your day shit. So like I think the whole tribalism in gaming, I think that's what gets under my skin.
Okay. All right, but then on the flip side for that, what would be like a dream come true?
Oh, dream come true. Xbox making exclusives. I'm just kidding.
How about that?
Nah, just kidding. Man, a dream come true in gaming would be like developers not having to worry about money so much and just making the games that they want.
I see that. I'm gonna actually run a little bit with that, but I'm gonna go a little different direction and say job security.
Job security, yeah.
Yeah, I just want developers to have better job security. I think there should be much more development studios than there currently are.
Yeah. There's a lot of good developers out there, man, and they're forced to make the type of game, and even when they make that type of game that they don't really want to make, they still lose their jobs, and it sucks. Like, it just does not increase morale for the player, for the developer, for anybody. Like, it's just a terrible experience.
All right, man. Well, Vinny, it's been a long time coming. Thank you so much for coming through. Of course, I got one thing left to ask you, but before I get to that, I want you to let everybody know where they can find Mr. Usovinny.
Just find me at Usovinny on all platforms, man. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, Discord. At Usovinny everywhere. Usovinny Plague. At Hawaiian Guy 808 on Twitter. So if you can't find me by my username.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And man, I really do appreciate you coming here. Also being around for as long as you have been. You know, a regular person I talk to every week. I mean, even on a busy week, I end up talking to you.
I appreciate you having me, man. That was a really good time.
Yeah, man. I told you once you got that camera, I'd get the time booked, and yeah, now you did the damn thing, and I got you here. I finally got one of the last of the Top Story boys. I still need to get Bango on here. God damn it! I need to find out time to get him on, but he's always so busy. And I actually haven't hit him up in a while, so maybe he's not as.
He's in my group chat. He hits us up every now and then. Pacific Buffet. So
well, if you ever
I'll reach out to
him, tell him to get at your boy Ham, because I don't want to spam him up. I don't want to spam him up. Anyways, Vinny, thanks again for coming through, being on the show and whatnot. I need you to now let me know how you describe gaming in just 3 words.
Just 3 words. All right. Escape real world.
Escape real world. We do a lot of that over here. So anyways, thanks everybody for popping through and being part of the show. Thanks to everybody that was watching over on Twitter, the real ones, of course. And thanks to all of you that were watching here live on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this show out if you can. Let everybody know that we did the damn thing. You're live on TSWS Gaming, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Check us out tomorrow for Bullsitting with me, Cozy Beluga, Matt Likes Games, most likely Mental 9R, and I believe Loke said he had a guest for tomorrow, so make sure you check us out then as well. But thank you guys so much for checking out the show. This is your boy Ham Solo signing out for TSWS Gaming, letting you know to keep it gaming, keep it moving.
Good night, New York City.